Well, aloha kakahiaka, everyone. Good morning. I am Peter Kay, and I'm here, your host. You are live with us. Today is March 3rd, 2023. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, Hawaii time, and you are on the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. Welcome. I got something to say. Well, not I got something to say. This is E Komo Mai, everyone. E Komo Mai is a Hawaiian term that means come, welcome. Welcome. E Komo Mai. So our lineup for today, if you just joined us, we got a couple of things going on. We got our we're gonna have our Hawaiian music selection, of course, of the day. We got some news, and we have a just married update. See if you can guess who just got married. We got some stories about that. Of course, we're going to handle your questions, which is the most important part. We've got diamonds and deals, properties that real estate properties that we think are really cool that you want to know about, and we're going to close with our motivational thoughts. If you're listening to this on demand after today, we've got chapters in the YouTube video. You can kind of click to where you want to go. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to warm this all up over here with our friends who are with us over here. And we've got, let's see, one more going on. There we go. So I'll welcome with our friends over here that are with us. Let me introduce you to everybody. We got Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island. We've got Heidi Dollinger, who is on Maui. And we have Ashley Wasan, who is on Oahu. Let's go clockwise and kind of warm up the microphones, get the audience kind of going over here. Actually, Auntie Joan's with us already. Hey, Auntie Joan, aloha everyone on this liquid sunshine day. Yeah, more than liquid sunshine, Auntie Joan. It's been, man, it's the coldest. This has been the coldest, wettest winter I can remember. Dylan, what's happening on the Big Island, buddy? What's going on?
Today I'm just working. I was on Maui yesterday, actually doing some work over there. But it's a beautiful day over here. It's been some weird weather. I don't know about you guys in the other islands, but kind of rainy and windy and cold. And there's a ton of snow on Mauna Kea right now, just totally loaded. It was like snowing down by the visitor center. So yeah, just another beautiful day though.
Yeah, beautiful. Finally, I'm not quite on the beautiful piece yet here. It remains to be seen. But we'll see how it goes. And Paul's back with us. Hey, Paul, welcome back, buddy. It snowed in Los Angeles County. It is signs of the apocalypse. I do believe it is signs of the apocalypse. I had a couple things occurred. There's certain signs I see of the apocalypse. I'll have to think about that later. But anyway, Heidi, welcome back, Heidi. And Heidi, we're not going to talk about what we're going to talk about because I want everyone to come on. I want a few more people to come on board first. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, just tell us about your coffee. What's going on in Maui? How's the weather? How are you?
It's a gorgeous day on Maui this morning. I went on a walk. I picked up my favorite coffee at Badass. So it's been a great day. It's been a little bit windy and rainy the last couple days, but the sun is out today. February is one of my favorite times of year. I mean, you just sleep with the doors open and windows open. It's not hot at all. It's in the low 70s, which feels cold here in the winter on Maui. And all the whales are here too. You just look out at the ocean and see the whales jumping, the baby whales slapping their tails. So it's one of my favorite times of year, February.
I don't know about you, but I have not been. We have sealed up the house. We have sealed up the windows uncharacteristically. We have sealed up all the windows and the doors in the house. Close everything when we go to bed at night because it's been like crazy, nasty. Yesterday we had like horizontal rain. I mean, normally like the windows, we have these windows just below the eave drop or whatever that's called, right? Kind of high up in the classic Hawaii kind of windows high up so that you can kind of leave them open even if it's raining. Not yesterday. It was like horizontal rain. And hey, Auntie Joan here, Peter coming from Chicago. Have you forgotten what the cold weather is? Yes, I forgot. Joan, it was 40 years ago. I want to forget. I want to forget as much as I can of what cold weather really is. I do not know. And welcome back, Steve. Good to see you, buddy. Happy to be here. Happy that you're here with us. Ashley, what's going on, girl? How's it? What's going on your side? How's your side of the island going today? Oh, you're muted.
Just as rainy, just as windy. I personally love this weather, but it is definitely historically cold for at least the 13 years that I've been here. And I honestly, I'm cherishing it. It's going to get very hot the rest of the year. So I'm going to eat this all up. I love having a warm tea and not sweat while drinking it. One of the things I love about this weather is the ocean, because I think that like with life and seasons, coming from the Northeast myself, I really appreciate seasonal weather. And Hawaii seasonal weather, the ocean just rages, and I love how powerful it feels. I feel like it feels the soul. Not to get too hippie or anything, but I was driving and I'm looking at it and I was like, yeah, I love this chapter. This is great.
Yeah, there was some. I didn't get a chance. Although I should have. I didn't take the time. Shame on me. But there was high surf advisories, of course. So everybody, the winds we've had like consistently, pretty high winds for weeks now, and rain. And when you get the winds, they come out of the east, and so those winds kick up some seriously big surf on the east sides of all the islands. And Ashley lives on the east side of Oahu. So Ashley, I know what you're saying there. You must have been driving by. I really want to go to Makapu, because Makapu is my sacred sort of space in Hawaii, and big, huge, giant surf in Makapu. And it's so powerful to see all that big surf. It's pretty remarkable.
It is. It's so powerful. And in Kailua, the windsurfing is just cranking right now. So, this is a good time to be on the east side, be in Kailua if you're into water sports. In the summer, it's really great for canoeing and kayaking and snorkeling and, free diving. But right now, it's all about the windsurfing and all about your wind sports. So take advantage of it while you can.
Man, yeah, windsurfing, high horsepower for windsurfers. That is for darn sure. Andre says half a foot of snow on my crate yesterday, southeast Arizona, 4,500. Yeah, that we're getting hit with global warming, man. It's a bad thing. As she who laughs, welcome back, Aloha. Good to see you again. And yes, indeed, welcome back, Heidi. We got a special thing going on with Heidi, everybody. So just kind of stay tuned for that. But first, we're gonna move on. We got our music selection, our Kanakapila selection for today. Man, I feel like my brain's just not there. I'm not doing. For some reason, my eye-hand coordination is not there, gang. All right, Kanakapila. So hey, gang, I want to kind of share with you a great artist, Anuhea. She's more of a modern type of artist. She's not the ones I've been kind of classically presenting you, the golden era of music. She's really great though, and she's got a kind of a Jamaican groove to a lot of her music, and so I hope you guys are going to like that. So you want to turn on get your Alexa microphone near the speaker there, or get your Siri or your Google, or whatever your automated microphone is, because we're going to turn that on, and I'm going to introduce you all to some of this music from Anuhea. So let's get ready. So Alexa, play music from Anuhea. Hey Siri, play music from Anuhea on Pandora. Okay Google, play music from Anuhea. All right, gang. So check out Anuhea and tell me what you think about it. And any comments here? Anyone wanted to jump in about your Anuhea favorites, or your Anuhea story or concert or anything? Anybody?
I went to an Anuhea concert.
All right, let's talk about Anuhea counterclockwise. Let's go Ashley, Heidi, and then Dylan. Go ahead, Anuhea, go.
That was my first artist that I ever saw live in person on Oahu in a warehouse. It's now a brewery in town, and honestly, she made me single-handedly fall in love with local music. And she just was, I don't think she's changed. Like, her heart and her personality seems to have stayed consistent even 13 years later.
Yeah, she's remarkable. Heidi, what about you?
I saw Anuhea in concert on Maui. This was about a year or two ago, and she was amazing. She's really fun to see live, and I love her music.
Yeah, her music is great. Dylan?
She's from the Big Island.
There you go. There you go. Enough said.
Is definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorite YouTube music radio stations, right? You find Anuhea and then you hit play radio, and then it'll play music similar to that. So yeah, one of my go-tos on the weekend when barbecuing. There you
go. And Kinaya is agreeing. Kinaya, welcome. Good to see you, Kinaya. Aloha from Austin. How's things going on there in Austin? You guys all right? And she does sound fantastic. So I'm glad that you guys are getting exposed to Anuhea, and she is a great artist. All right, let's move on, gang. Let's kind of hit a little bit of the news and kind of what's happening today. Let's talk about that a little bit. So a couple things which are kind of fun. So first of all, there is one and only one Kona coffee. So apparently, so the Kona coffee brand is huge. It's worth a lot. People with Kona coffee could charge a lot more than non-Kona coffee. And apparently, there was a company that was selling regular coffee, and they called it Kona, which is a big no-no, to the tune of $6.5 million class action suit. So that money's gonna go to the farmers that were harmed, I suppose, by that ruling, which is good. I think keeps the Kona brand hot, which is what it should be. Vacation rentals, man. We've talked about this a bunch, gang, and they keep coming after vacation rentals. So this is in the possibly inflated legislation that's going to die category. They're pushing to put some legislators are get this. They're pushing to raise the taxes on vacation rentals, short-term vacation rentals. Currently, it's 9%, which is the same as hotels, and they want to raise it to 35%. 35% for short-term vacation rentals. Again, as Dylan had mentioned earlier, I don't think this legislation is going to pass, but it's kind of fun to think about it. Population shrinkage. Well, guess what? The 15,000 people moved away in 2022 from Hawaii. 15,000 people moved away in 2022, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. That's an average of 20 people leaving the state every day last year. It's going to be interesting to kind of see if this trend is going to continue or not. Whoops, wrong set. There we go. I don't know if this trend's going to continue, but I thought it was interesting. I wonder how is this going to affect housing if this keeps up, right? 15,000 people got to live somewhere. How many homes did that represent? So how many homes did that sort of put on the market? Not sure how to read that. Would like to know what you all think about that, especially our experts over here. I thought this was an interesting story. This is in the Hawaii really cares about animals story here. This is we're going to the governor. Our governor, Josh Green, declared 2023, the entire year, to be the year of the kahuli. And the kahuli is the year of the snail. So yes, in Hawaii, we dedicate the entire year to the snail. God bless them. Apparently, we've had there were over 750 species, and now we're down to 300. And so we are going to declare 2023 the year of the snail. There's just something about that I just kind of found endearing. I thought I want to point that out to you guys and hope you enjoy it. Oahu, a beachfront property smallification. This is in the we've been telling you about this for months now category. Looks like they're going to be passing the Oahu County, Honolulu, has voted, has passed. They haven't passed the bill. Well, I guess it's passed out of the legislative branch, and it's waiting for the mayor to sign, which is going to push back the shoreline protection further back on people's homes, those who have beachfront homes, essentially making their property smaller because they're allowing for more of setbacks. So I wonder what's going to be the outcome of that on the market. And then finally, cesspools. Another thing we've been talking about for week after week is cesspools. So unsurprisingly, this is in the Dylan told you so category. Apparently they're saying that the state is now realizing that they're $1 billion short of the funds that would be needed to convert more than 80,000 cesspools into something environmentally friendly, which is putting the kibosh on it. So once again, we're having all of a lot of the things that we had talked about come true. You're kind of seeing this all to fruition. The cesspools, the setbacks, and of course the snail. Why don't we go ahead, Dylan, jump in.
Being $1 billion short never stopped us before. Why stop now, right? Since when?
What's a billion between friends? What's $1 billion between friends? Yeah. Should we bring up my favorite PTSD topic, the rail project, which was, here's a good one, gang. So the rail project was originally estimated to cost $2 billion, and now the price tag is well over 12. 12. So we went from 2 to 12. Anyway, hey, let's go around and talk about the news and the updates, market updates, anything you want to share, any comments, any feedback. Why don't we go clockwise? Dylan, Heidi, and then Ashley. Dylan, what's going on?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of these proposals starting to die or take more realistic shape or be put on hold. So that'll continue over the next couple of weeks as we get deeper into the legislative session and bills have to cross over and do other legislative things. But the market is definitely it's still slow. So last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about, in January we had 280 sales on the Big Island, down from well over 500 to the months last year and up to 720 earlier in the year last year. We had a little slight uptick to 296 this past month in February, so a little bit higher than the month previous, but still very, very low compared to historic levels. And so it's not a lot of activity, but not a lot of new listings coming on the market either. Listings are still very, very low. So very weird kind of dynamic in the market where people are not listing their homes and there are not that many people buying. So we're having low inventory plus low sales. It's very, very odd dynamic.
So what would you kind of characterize, Dylan, as sort of the end result headline? What's the headline of the end? And and because of that, therefore, what?
Good question, because it's against what normally is supposed to happen in the market, right? Normally, if you see sales drop, you'll see inventory start to rise, which will then bring prices down, and then create more demand. I mean, the normal economic function that you really see in a market is not necessarily happening right now. So we're just in a weird spot. Interest rates went back up this past week, so they're still suppressing buyer demand a little bit through that. But I think, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I feel like there's one of the dynamics that's causing it is, 60% of home buyers are a home seller first, right? So not everybody's a first-time home buyer. So if you're discouraged from buying, upgrading, downgrading, whatever you're going to do, and you have to sell your home first, that's suppressing supply because people are not putting their homes on the market to then upgrade, downgrade, move, whatever it is. You don't want to be a buyer. So it's that's a dynamic in the market that's kind of, I think, suppressing supply, but also suppressing demand. And that's why we're seeing where we're at. So, yeah. But the flip side of that is, we do a ton of online lead generation, and we're seeing the online lead generation. I had a record high number of conversions in February. We had like record low overall activity in the market, but for whatever reason, people that are inquiring online, the place that we're getting business from is performing at record high levels, which also makes no sense. So I don't know what's going on.
Hey, and before we move on to Heidi, I want to say, speaking of record high levels, hey everyone, you ought to know that Dylan's organization, EXP, what's the formal name of your organization, Dylan?
The Agency Team Hawaii is the team name. Yeah.
The Agency Team Hawaii was rated, achieved number one sales volume status. Is that the correct way that you characterize it?
Yep.
Number one sales volume in the state. Number one sales volume in the state for a real estate team. Dude, that is no small task, especially on the Big Island. You'd think that would be on Oahu, that someone would be there would be a team with higher sales volume, but team-wise, as a cumulative team, Dylan's team did it. And so that is a testament to you, my friend, and congratulations. She Who Laughs says congratulations, and I agree. I couldn't agree more. Neil's back, by the way. Welcome back, Neil. Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, it is a moment for congratulations. All right, now look, so we're gonna move to Heidi, but look, I gotta say this now. When Heidi first jumped in in the back studio before we started the show, the first thing, gang, I noticed that Heidi looked different. Does anybody have any memories that doesn't she look different? And there's a reason why Heidi looks different, right, gang? Why is it? Can you guess? Throw it in the comments. Why does Heidi look different? See if you know, but here's why. Because Heidi, we're glad to have you back. You got married while you were gone. You were getting married. Fill us in, Heidi. Everybody wants to know. See, because look, She Who Laughs got it. See, she got it. A lovely glow. She's married. Exactly. I see. I told you, Heidi. Give us the details. We're all dying to know about. We've been waiting. We didn't talk about it offsite. We've been waiting. Go for it, Heidi. Give us the story.
Well, I I missed everybody the last couple shows, so I got married here on Maui. It was just absolutely fabulous. I met my husband actually on a New Year's Eve party at a New Year's Eve party on Maui about 9 years ago, and we were just so fortunate to be able to host all our friends and family from all over, friends here on Maui and friends from the mainland and family. And we got married in Kapalua, oceanfront. You can see the ocean in the background, and we just were so fortunate. It was a really, really special day. So grateful and so happy.
Could not be happier for you, Heidi. I could not be happier for you. I mean, Hawaiian weddings, man. Hawaiian weddings are like, nobody beats Hawaiian weddings, man. They're the cool, like, right? Like, you're on the water. How could you beat that? You got everyone. So in case you're wondering what the photo is like over there, obviously you see Heidi and her husband with the ocean behind. There's a Hawaiian priest there who is blowing the conch shell. That's a conch shell he's blowing. He's fully decked out in all the kind of Hawaiian a spiritual garb, and just a great shot. And I love your husband is wearing a maili lei. You see that long drape lace? I love maili leis. They're just the coolest of all. So that is they're really cool. Anybody, Dylan, Dylan, Ashley, you guys go right ahead and comment. And I'm done gushing.
Congratulations, Heidi. Absolutely stunning. Just the perfect backdrop to the most beautiful couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing better than a Maui wedding, right? Congratulations.
Oh man, the cool
the dress. Thing. Are you gonna keep it or are you gonna sell it?
I don't know. As soon as the wedding was over, that's what my husband asked me. I'm like, I don't know.
It's a big decision, because if you keep it, where do you store it? It's so beautiful. You know, they have resale sites for weddings, and then I mean, I would keep it though.
No, you wouldn't. You would sell it.
Dylan, you don't know me.
You know, I'll make a further prediction. I would say that Ashley would auction it. Actually, would auction to the highest bidder. That's what Ashley would do. She would auction to the highest bidder, and then give the proceeds to some sort of animal shelter, environmental cause.
100%, or women's shelter. I can't decide. I make my clients decide.
Right. Some there you go. Some kind of a nonprofit, and then do like a crowdsourced voting thing to decide where the money ought to go. That's what you would do. Hey gang, look, aren't you all happy about it? Hey gang, feel free, throw in your congratulations to Heidi, our newest bride, who is now a married woman. God bless. We're so happy for her. Pop it in, everybody. There's a bunch of comments that are coming in over here. Of course, we've got. Let me see if I get that. Let me do this the right way over here. So I get the. Hold on a second, gang. Pardon me.
Heidi, how many people came to your wedding?
We had about 115 people.
Wow, that's sizable. Was it even pretty same with you and your husband's side? Did they sit on each side separately, or did everyone blend?
I have a much larger family, so I probably had more family there, but about half of our guests were local from Maui, and about half of our guests were traveling from the mainland, friends and family. So yeah,
so you guys single-handedly supported the hotel industry for that week.
No kidding, man. No kidding. How cool.
Yeah, we didn't tell people where to stay because everybody kind of had their own idea. I mean, people rented houses or condos or different places. I mean, everybody found a place to stay. The site where we got married was at Merriman's Restaurant. It's out on the deck there just because it's so beautiful. I mean, you're surrounded by ocean. You're right by the beach. The site was just gorgeous. So anyway, we're just super happy, and it was fun hosting everybody.
You know, now that you mention it, there are so many things that are so cool about having a Hawaiian wedding. And I didn't think about this till you mentioned it, but yeah, you got family coming from the mainland, and your family, Heidi, is coming from Illinois, and there's no better time to leave the state of Illinois than in February. That is the best month to leave the state of Illinois and come to Maui, and you're hanging out in this beautiful place. You have this great time. So you're having a vacation, and then there's a wedding going on and all this incredible beauty because, weddings are so special. And so people coming from the mainland, being in a place like this, they've never seen this kind of beauty before, even though they may have gone to Hawaii before and they've gone on trips. They've just never had this sort of setting. So the settings are there. Everyone's happy. It's an incredible event. Everyone's having a good time. People all get together. It's just the coolest thing. So that is so awesome. So awesome. We got a couple of here. I want to catch up over here. So Auntie Joan, your gown is gorgeous, and so are you. She Who Laughs agrees. Yes, Heidi, a gorgeous bride, and congratulations again. Keep it. Okay, Joan's saying about the dress. Joan would not auction off the dress the way I would. Alex says congratulations, and Barbara. Welcome back, Barbara. You're a beautiful bride, and best wishes to you and your husband. A lucky man. Indeed, a lucky man. Congratulations from the 9th island. Patrick is clearly hanging out in Vegas over there. Welcome, Patrick. And Steve says it looks like a beautiful wedding ceremony. And congratulations from Christine White. Welcome back, Christine. Good to see you again. And Jeff Halverson, congratulations. Excellent. We're also happy for you, Heidi. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for nice wishes for Heidi. All right. Excellent. Congratulations again, Heidi. Welcome to the other side of the world over here. All right. So, hey, gang. So a quick station break or a quick station pitch here. Did you get here through the newsletter? If you did, you're good. If you did not get here through the newsletter, and if you found your way here somehow and you did not get a newsletter invite, go to livinginhawaii.com. Livinginhawaii.com. A dialog box will pop up. Pop in your email address. You'll get invites to this and all kinds of other fun. We have content that comes every week. Great photos, great stories, things all about Hawaii. All right. Let's move on, gang. So let's get we get up. So so one more thing I wanted to mention too here. This show is driven by your questions, and that's why we're here. We're here to ask us anything. So if you got a question, pop in the comments right now. We'll queue up. I got a bunch of slides. I got a bunch of things that have been set up earlier. So we're going to go through those, but your questions are what matter to us most, especially if you're here and you're live. Make sure you let us know. All right. Let's move on, gang. So we got a question that came in from Cade from Northern California, and I think it comes. We hear it in a variety of ways, so I think it's worth bringing up again. And the question is, what is the most effective approach to initially stay for a period of 30 to 90 days and then transition into a more extended stay or permanent residency while allowing myself and my spouse the flexibility to reassess our decision and depart if needed? So this is like a classic situation, right? Cade and his wife and trying to kind of figure out if Hawaii is right for them. How do you kind of do a 30 to 90 day stay where, rent's kind of, there's like a catch-22 with rent in Hawaii. You really can't rent remotely, but you got to be here. But if you're here, you're not going to be renting. So how does that all work? So if people kind of ask, how do you respond? What's the advice that you give them? Let's start from the bottom up. Let's start with Ashley and then Heidi and then Dylan. Ashley, go ahead.
I would, and I just ran into this recently too, because I'm looking to do a large home renovation and I just wanted a place to stay for 30 days. And I'm speaking just on Oahu because Oahu specifically is a little bit more challenging for Airbnbs. And I found some that would be close to my daughter's school, but they're often the higher price point properties. So I'm not interested in paying 10, 20 grand to stay somewhere where I'm just right down the street from where I'm living. And I did end up going and finding a boutique hotel that would be roughly about $3,000, maybe $3,800 for the month. So that became obtainable, maybe even up to $6,000, depending on the size of the room you got, which would be rent for about a 3-bedroom home. So paying the same price for a large home in a smaller space. Also, if you do find Airbnbs that will allow the 30 to 90 day rentals, scoop them up. Best way to do it. Spend 30 days in one part of the island, go spend 30 days in another part of the island, and then, explore, link up with the realtor, ask, what's your lifestyle, what's going to work for you, and then just sort of plop around and figure out what's going to fit your lifestyle best. But to answer your question, there are 30-day rentals, there are boutique hotels, and there are a few places that do allow month to month that are on estates. You just got to dig for it.
You got to dig for it, find those 30. I think it is a good qualifier of a 30-day at least, because at least on Oahu, the law is that short-term vacation rentals legally must do it for at least 30 days. That law may change, but for now, like you said, that's good advice. Heidi, how do you respond to that? And maybe if there's a Maui specific kind of version of that advice that you would give.
Yeah, I mean, it would depend on your specific situation, but probably renting a vacation rental would be the best way to go. In Maui County, any rental less than 180 days is considered a short-term rental. So you could just search on VRBO, Airbnb, rent a condo for 30 to 90 days, and that would give you plenty of flexibility to look around and decide what you want to do. Some people who are thinking of transitioning full-time to Maui, I mean, depending on your financial situation, would actually buy a vacation rental, and then they could come back and forth and stay there occasionally and rent it out to offset the cost when they weren't using it, and then eventually sell the vacation rental and invest in a full-time home a couple years down the road, or whatever the plan is.
Yeah, excellent. I think this is really, really helpful. I'm glad this question came up again, because there are slightly different answers for each island, because there's slightly different laws for short-term vacation rentals. On Maui, if it's less than 180 days, I believe you said, Heidi, it's considered a short-term vacation rental. On Oahu, it's got to be a minimum of a 30-day rental period for a short-term vacation rental. Dylan, what's your advice for someone who wants to do something like this, and they're going to pick the Big Island as the place that they want to try this out on?
I think the main thing is to be flexible. It's funny. I got two good case studies in the last couple of weeks of how someone's plans completely don't work the way they expected. So I had some folks contact me like 18 months ago, who said, "Okay, we're ready. We're moving there. We're going to buy. They had permanent jobs here and everything." And that was 18 months ago, and they've been renting ever since because they couldn't find what they wanted. It was a crazy market at that time, and they just reached back out and kind of are ready now to start looking seriously at buying. And on the flip side, I have some really good friends that are moving here that intent was to rent for 3 to 6 months and take it easy and kind of figure out where they wanted to be. And instead, last time they came and visited, they saw a house they loved, and they put an offer in, and they're going to close in like 13 days or 10 days or something like that. So you just need flexibility, because you don't know, especially if you're in the market to buy, you don't know when the right thing is going to come on the market. You got to be ready to pull the trigger. And sometimes you got to be patient and just wait. It might take 6 months, a year, when you intended to buy sooner. So I think the main thing is don't have your heart set on one thing and box yourself into one plan, because the right plan might be right outside of your box, and you don't want to miss it if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Flexibility is kind of really important. I think the only thing I'd want to add to this whole conversation that hasn't already been said is, what you could do, kind of not unlike what Ashley's saying, a boutique hotel, but you could basically get the hotel for like the first week, get your boots on the ground, and then you could kind of actually drive up to the potential Airbnb, or if you can have a chance to kind of see the place or see the neighborhood, rent a regular hotel for a week or two, then use that week or two of having boots on the ground to drive to various neighborhoods, and then see if you can get a short-term vacation rental in that neighborhood or in that district. But that's the only thing I would add. Everything that you guys have said has been great. Great. Anything else that anybody wants to chime in with? Okay.
Just not important, but everything under 6 months, I think, is defined as a shorter term rental, month to month. So you have short term, which is anything less than 30 days. You have midterm, which is around 3 months. And then you have your long-term leases, which are 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, excellent. Well said. All right, we got a couple of questions that have popped in. Let's take one that someone really. We have a couple. We have one from Jeff. I've got yours, so hang in. We're going to get to yours next, and we're going to. Thank you, Heather. Heather says, by some miracle, I reached out to an Airbnb, and they were open to me staying indefinitely until I found a place. on Oahu. Heather, you got lucky, man, and I'm glad it worked out that way. Heather is a Islander Ohana alumni, and it's great to see you, Heather, and great stories that you're posting. Oh, Kinaya, relevant question here. So Kinaya says, Kinaya also an alumni of the Islander Ohana. We're returning for 60 days. We found a place on the North Shore for 30, then Waikiki for 30. It was a real challenge. It is a real challenge. Glad you found it. You're going to be the North Shore is a great place to hang out for a month. Waikiki ain't so bad either. Good move. Great comments, everyone. Okay, so we have a question here that came in. This is from My Twin Babies One. What percent of people moving sell their mainland home first versus those who move first and then sell later? Are there pros and cons of either? Why don't we take this one clockwise? Let's go Dylan, Heidi, and then Ashley on this. How would you respond to My Twin Babies One?
Man, you guys are hitting all the recent case studies. I just had this conversation like 2 days ago. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what your financial situation is, because that should determine what your plan is and how you move forward in this situation. Because there are cases where people have enough equity in their home, they have enough income, they don't have debt, they do have no need to sell their home before they buy here. That can make the transition much easier. You don't have the pressure of having to sell and buy at the same time. You can have a slower transition, take your time. In other cases, you must absolutely sell where you are in order to come here. And so you should really first explore your finances, figure out what your options are. I did this, assumed the last house I bought, I had to sell my first house until I went through the process with my mortgage broker, and they said, nope, you're good to go. You could buy this house and then you could sell your other one after, keep it as a rental, whatever you want to do. And so figure that out first, and then make an informed decision based on it, because it's arbitrary until you know what your financial plan is.
Excellent. Heidi, what's your advice to my twin babies?
Yes, I totally agree with Dylan. Figure out what your financial plan is. I can say that offers here on Maui that are contingent upon the sale of a property on the mainland have not been very competitive in the past, because you're probably competing with other buyers who would not have a property sale contingency. So, I mean, unless the mainland property is already under contract and going to close soon, to write an offer where a property isn't even listed, you don't know when it's going to sell, it's not necessarily going to be that competitive of an offer. So just something to think through. Now, I mean, our market has slowed down a little bit here, so perhaps you could find somebody who might be open to that. But at least, I mean, in the past few years, and I mean, really most of the time I've been selling real estate, which is since 2014, those type of offers contingent on a mainland property have not usually been successful unless the property's already under contract.
Thank you, Heidi. Ashley, what do you have to add to this topic?
It's hard because you guys hit both almost everything on the head. The only thing I think I could add in addition to, because I agree with them completely, is I'm a huge proponent on keeping your assets and building a real estate portfolio. So first and foremost, see if you can keep it without selling it if you are owning a home, not renting. And then if you can't afford to buy a second property, you just have to qualify. As long as you get a rental agreement in place for that other home on the mainland, you only have to qualify for whatever your new mortgage would be plus 20% of what the existing mortgage would be if that rent covers the whole mortgage and then some. So try to see if you can hold it and then continue to build your portfolio, unless you just made a lot of money and it makes logical sense to sell it, because at some point you're going to hit a peak in your market, and you might hit that peak and then there's really not a huge point to hold on to it if it doesn't cash flow consistently, because then at that point you're just going to have a lot of costs to maintain it with not much cash flow.
Excellent advice from the perspective of try to keep the property that you have, try to build your real estate portfolio if that's your thing. Excellent. Hey, just on a strict percentage basis, because the question was what percent of people moving sell their mainland home first? Anyone have any? Yeah, I'm seeing like God only knows. Okay, yeah, it's anyone's guess.
I don't think that's data that's kept.
Yeah,
we just have to guess that at our own personal experience.
Yeah. But anecdotally, yeah, that's a good point. Oh, anyway, so my twin babies. Hope that was a good one for you. Hey, thanks, Ashley. There, we have a back channel chat, and I say, hey, what about the market updates? You missed Maui and you missed Oahu. Yeah, I got so overwhelmed by Heidi's wedding announcement and Heidi's wedding photos and all the emotion there. And I told you, gang, right? I remember when I started, look, I'm a little bit off today. I can't tell why. So we need to continue with market updates. We didn't do that. So we talked about the Big Island. We didn't talk about Maui. Didn't talk about Oahu. Heidi, give us the market update for Maui. We'll go Heidi and then we'll go Ashley. Heidi, what's the market update for Maui? What do you want to report on? What's new? What's going on over there? What's your sense? What's the headline of what's happening in Maui real estate wise?
Well, the market's definitely slower. About half as many sales are happening right now as were happening a year ago. Prices are still strong. They show evidence of stabilizing a little bit. I mean, we're not seeing huge jumps in appreciation like we were over the past couple years. There's also less new listings. There's less properties going under contract. But good properties are still going under contract quickly. As of the January 2023 stats show that 52% of condos sold at or above list price still. And Maui remains just a very desirable place for people to come to visit, to own, to buy. I'm talking to a lot of buyers who, their long-term plans are to own here, and they're just looking for the right property, looking for the right opportunity. Compared to the last couple years, there are some advantages buyers have now because it's just a little bit slower moving of a market. Also, on average, buyers are able to negotiate an extra 2% off the list price compared to what was going on a year ago. And there is more overall inventory. Not that there is a lot of new listings, but just the rate of the market absorbing the new listings is slower. So, yeah, that's in a nutshell. I mean, vacation rental rents have been very strong. So people that own vacation rentals are not that motivated to sell. And then the single family home market is slowing because people that already own a home don't necessarily want to sell it and get a property at a much higher interest rate.
Heidi, thanks for that update. I really appreciate that. Ashley, thank you again for reminding me to make sure we don't skip our market update. Give us the lowdown on what's happening on Oahu and what's the headline, Ashley? What's going on?
Well, kudos to you, because you know what? Sometimes when you just show up, even if you're not feeling it, you just show up anyways and you power through and you stay consistent. I know that feeling. So thank you for showing up. And I was just really wanting to, because we have a slightly different market feedback than Big Island. So I was really fascinated to hear Dylan's. So I'm going to give some numbers real quick. For February, we closed out with the median sales price at $983,500. We go by median usually if you look at statistics versus average, because they tend to be a bit more consistent. Just for example, if we were to look at average, that would be 1.359 million. So we're stuck with median. To give an example, January.
So actually, if I could interrupt,
Yeah.
just so people understand, median. Can you define what's the difference between median and average?
Yeah. Say if you had a scale from 1 to 100, median would be somewhere in the middle of that scale, or it's going to range on that scale, versus the average. It's going to add all of the data of, say, the 100 points, and then it's going to give you the middle of that. So median tends to be a bit more consistent than the average, because the average, they're going to take every home sale price, and then they're going to say if there's 100 sales, they're going to take all of those, add them up, divide it by 100, versus like what is the most consistent number or amount sales price. Does that make sense?
My understanding of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of median is half of the homes sold for more than that number, and the other half of the homes sold for under that number. So if the median price is if the median price is 983, 983,000, again, half of all the homes sold, half of the homes sold for more, half the homes sold for less. So it's like you said, it's a better representation of the price. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So
median price isn't affected by outliers. If you have a couple of random $20 million sales on the island, it's going to drag the average up significantly. And if you have a couple of really low sales, it's going to drag the average down significantly. And it's not going to be an accurate representation of the actual market. So that's one way to think about it.
So when we talk numbers, I just think it's important for people to understand we're going off of median, because you'll see some agents or some people give out data based off of average. So the median for single families was 983,500, which is up from last month. And why I think this is important is because we are seeing an increase of our market here, not drastic, just mildly. To give that in perspective, though, we are still so much lower than last year, 2022, which the median was 1.1 million. As far as closed sales for single family homes, we're up from January. We're now at 199 closed sales for single family, opposed to 176 sales in January. 199 in February versus 176 in January. For perspective, in February 2022, that was 255 sales. However, our days on market has gone up slightly from 22 days on average for single families to 36 days. Now, condo market is very different. Typically, we see the condo market is affected more than the single family market. I've explained this why in a past show. So we are down on the median sales price for condos. In January, we're at 488,000. We're down very slightly to 483,000. And in comparison to 2022 in February, that was 488,000. So we're right around the same condos for an entire year in this hot market that we've been hearing about, which I think is a great perspective. Closed sales were up, however. So in January, it was 281 sales versus February, 328 condo sales. And then the days on market for condos has also gone up from 23 days in January to 29 days. So not much.
So Ashley, if you had to give me sort of a headline of what you think this all means, and again, no one's got a crystal ball. We can't predict the future. It's all kind of speculative, but where do you think this is leading things to be going? Where do you think would be what would you be saying a month from, what do you think that you're going to say a month from now about the market?
Well, what I thought, and I feel this indicated, is that we're not seeing a continuous decline, right? We were all kind of waiting to see if we were going to see it go down month over month. What we're seeing is higher days on market ever so slightly, but we're seeing more sales and we're seeing prices not drastically shoot up, but we're seeing them increase ever so slightly, or at least stabilize. That's a really, really good indication for our local market. And what I'm thinking right now is a great time for buying and selling, because we're about to get into PCS season, which is when military relocating to Hawaii and they're getting their orders. And we always see a large influx of sales during that time and an influx of listings, because all of the military here are going to be listing their properties pretty soon to move off island. So I think that might be a precursor to what we're going to see the coming months. But I also think that has to do with the interest rates. If you guys are following interest rates, we saw them spike and they went down a whole point last month. And that really stimulated the market here locally. And then they went back up a couple weeks ago. So I think people are just like, ooh, I should move. If I'm on the fence, I should move. I think right now is a great stable market we have on Oahu. I don't think we're going to see a massive decline like we anticipated. I think this is an indicator that we're going to see it probably go up and down ever so slightly for the coming months. Except for these next 3 months. I think these next 3 months, it will continue to go up because of that PCS season. So interesting. So kind of basically what I'm kind of hearing is relative stability. It's not going to be this big, huge drop that maybe some people were anticipating or whatnot. Dylan or Heidi, is there any kind of other summary that you kind of want to throw out about, sort of, not to say a future prediction, but kind of where you see things going that you think is worth mentioning? Whoops. Sorry about that. I'm seeing, it's like, I'm just not on my game today, man. I'm not clicking through. I'll tell you, thank you, Ashley, for your confidence. But Dylan, Heidi, is there anything you guys want to add to that, sort of where you see things going, and kind of what would be a prediction, if any, that you want to make? Okay.
I think things are going to normalize. That's the biggest thing going forward is people are going to realize, a lot of experts are saying we will never see sub 5% interest rates in our lifetime ever again. And if that's the case, 6 months from now, people forget there ever was 4 or 3% interest rates, and then buyers will come back to the market, sellers will sell. I mean, so we're in a weird transitional time out. I think slower than the mainland. The mainland, this hit the mainland 3 or 4, 5 months ago, and Hawaii's always a little bit behind the times and stuff like this. But we're catching up.
Lenders are saying that they're anticipating interest rates to go back down too after the new unemployment numbers come out. And so I think that will really stimulate, at least here on Oahu, our PCS season. And then we're probably going to see likely a drop in interest rates, but we don't know that for sure. And if that's the case, if it is in 6 months, we see that and it's going to be worth it, then you do just refinance, because obviously when interest rates are high, you have negotiation power and prices stay low, and then when interest rates reduce, then you see the prices go up to reflect that. And then you're going to be you're paying one way or another. So just refinance if the rates go back down.
There you go.
And there's a lot of financing options right now that we haven't talked about in years, that is going to take some time for realtors to educate themselves, but then also for us to pass that knowledge on to our potential buyers. And so there's like 3-2-1 buy downs where you can buy down the interest rate up front and create a lower payment. So if you believe going forward, and nobody's making any predictions, but if you believe that in 2 or 3 years the interest rate will be lower, you can negotiate a buy down through a seller credit to buy your interest rate down, and save $400, $500, $600 a month on your payment every month. That will tick up after that expires after a couple of years. But if you believe that the interest rate will be lower, then you can just buy it sometime, in a year or two, then refinance like Ashley's talking about, and lock in that lower interest rate and that lower payment. So there's some options out there. There's ARM products. There's some things that we got to get more creative about to give buyers options, where if the main thing holding you back is the current rate and the belief that in the future it's going to be lower, then there's some ways to overcome that right now.
Excellent. Okay. How about if we do, we're going to run short on time. So I wanted to grabbing these questions though. Let's kind of hit Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Question. Do you see permits moving quicker yet? No. There. Okay. Big no. I see they're moving minor upgrades to a different queue. Yeah. The answer is no. Heidi, I'm not seeing any reaction from you whatsoever. Okay. Heidi says no. Yeah, Jeff, ain't moving anytime soon. Sorry about that. And that's a quick answer. I can't do this. Okay, so here's another quick one. How about a lightning round question? Do you anticipate a recession? Okay, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heidi, throw what's your anticipation, or sideways?
We're in a recession.
We're already in one.
Yeah. Okay, so Paul, yes, we anticipate one because we're in one now. There you go.
If you use a traditional definition, not the new modified definition, we've been in one for 6 months.
Well, if you use the modified version, things are great. Things are booming. Everyone's doing great. Everything's fantastic, right?
Well, I think it depends what the real question is, how somebody defines that. I like was said before, we're in a slower market. It seems to be more stabilizing, normalizing. I mean, I anticipate we're just going to see lower volume of transactions for a while, but prices seem to be leveling out, and the big appreciation is definitely slowing and not happening right now.
Thank you, Heidi, for bringing us back to the voice of reason here. We're all just kind of joking about the recession, and the adult in the room steps up and kind of calms everybody down with some reason. Thank you, Heidi. Yes, she who laughs says, the Nile is not a river. Yes, it's not a river in Egypt. Correct. It is not a river in Egypt. All right. Hey, I think we took all the questions I think that we're going to have, and we're kind of getting close on time here. So let's get into Diamonds and Deals. Here was sort of our inspirational properties, and I hope I unhid your thing there. Let's talk about the Heidi. Let's talk about the Waianae. Ashley, give us. Wait a minute.
There's update the slides, and
I think I've got to
unhide hers.
All right, so we're gonna take a little almost a little station break over here, and we're gonna go back. See, it's like it's one of those days, right? See, I called, but thank you, Ashley. At least I showed up, right? I showed up, so okay.
Yeah,
I'll take
think
that.
If you believe in Venus, Mercury retrograde or whatever, everyone's a little.
Oh
off.
man, don't I? You know what? Hold on. Yeah, I can't go there. I can't. I can't go into. I can't go into astrology, Venus retrograde. In fact, I had someone who was telling me about some lines that were spatial space lines that were over the island while they were born. I thought, man, I don't know about I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right. I think we're back over here with this little station break. I think we got it. Yes, we do have it. Heidi, give us the Kanakapila Shores. Man, what a beautiful property. What is this? This is gorgeous.
This is an absolutely stunning beachfront residence. It sits on the north end of Kanakapila Beach, and you can look through that window, look all the way down the beach to Black Rock, which for those of you know Maui and Kanakapila, that's an important landmark. It's 2 bedrooms and 2 baths, completely thoughtfully remodeled. Many high-end luxury finishes, just amazing attention to detail on the part of the owner. It is a vacation rental on VRBO. It currently rents for around $1,000 a night, and it's being sold completely furnished and turnkey. They just did major upgrades on the building. It was actually, the building was, this unit couldn't be rented for almost a year. They redid the spalling and did a lot of exterior work on the building to invest in the next future 50 years lifespan for the building. So it's kind of an amazing time for a buyer to come in right now.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know what we got next because I didn't look ahead at the slides, but I'll bet that no one's going to beat that view. That is a crazy, crazy view and a great picture of the deep, deep, deep blue ocean. I think that has really captured it. And look, I just know that right now Ashley has already pulled out her calculator and she's dividing. She's like, okay, 1,000 a day times 20 days. That's 20,000 a month. I think I could do this. There you Thank you, Ashton. That's great. Yeah, thank you. And a big shout out to Auntie Joan here, who's I'm the fearless leader. Thank you, Auntie Joan. I appreciate that. I just kind of having a fun game today. All right, let's get to our next one here. Ashley, we have our Waianae property. Fill us in on what we're looking at here. Oop, you're muted.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm also having a day, so my text is half cut off here, but that's supposed to say 86125. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, non-conforming. And this property, the reason I wanted to highlight it today was I just think it is a great entry-level home for people who are looking to offset income, maybe look for something that produces rental income and or is multifamily. In fact, most people who are looking at this were interested in it as a multifamily. This is a 20,000 square foot lot. It's in the west side and it's got mountain views all around you. The property is non-conforming, which means it's not a legal multifamily home. 3 living quarters, so a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and no interior access to each. You have 2 cesspool or a cesspool and a septic tank on the property. 2/4 of it are on a septic system. The other one is on a cesspool. It just has a lot of options. And plus you can see a lot of this land is not used. It's zoned county or country zoning, I believe. You can't build a bunch of single family dwellings on it, but you can certainly add to what's existing. I just feel like it has a lot of opportunity. It's only at $849,000 for 20,000 square feet.
20,000 square feet of land and 3 units on there. That definitely could be, like you said, it's a multifamily kind of I would think a rental opportunity. Good variety there. Thanks, Ashley. Dylan, what do we got over here?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight affordability this week, and this is in Hawaiian Paradise Park on the east side of the Big Island. So a little bit more rural, but I mean, you get an acre of land, a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I mean, look at this thing. It's fully renovated and upgraded, just ready to move in. Nice landscaping, lush scenery all around it, for $510,000. So you could definitely get something very nice that is affordable if you come to the Big Island. And this is a perfect example of that. And this is, there's many options like this in the area. If you don't mind being 20 minutes from town and being a little bit more rural. This is on catchment water, so you don't have municipal water, but totally move-in ready. Great community.
It's funny, Dylan, because we lived for a very short while on that side of the island. This is 30 years ago. This was mid 90s, and I remember Hawaiian Paradise Park was this, it's a really interesting place because you had like a huge spectrum of homes. Or I don't know if it's changed or not, right? But you know, you had anything from completely raw, untouched land with wild trees all over it. You know, that was completely unlivable, and you had some very, you know, on one side, and you had some very nice homes on the other. This is on the very nice home spectrum. I'm curious of what HPP, Hawaiian Paradise Park, is like these days. How's it? Has that must be changed now from the way I remember it 30 years ago, I'm sure.
It's very, very gentrified. I mean, there's tons. You know, I would say that it is the fastest growing area of the island, Hawaiian Paradise Park, and the surrounding subdivisions. But you know, 10 years ago there was like less than 30,000 people there. There's over 50,000 people there today, and it continues to go rapidly because you can get an acre of land for 50, 60, 70,000, and then you can build a house on it, you know, for a couple $100,000, and then you can sell it for 400, 500,000. I mean, it's still a reasonable place to be able to create housing. So a lot of the new housing is being built there, and it's really where, you know, a lot of middle class people are flocking to, not just from the mainland, but definitely locals, because if you cannot afford, you know, Hilo proper, where price points are going to be, you know, another $100,000-$200,000 higher, definitely on the west side it's going to be $300,000 or $400,000 higher. Totally affordable place to live, and you can get a really nice house.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. The dynamics that were true then are still true now. Back then, that was the place where if you couldn't afford it, you would go and all that kind of stuff. And those balances.
You know, they've expanded the highways. There's a lot more infrastructure. They're putting in
I was going to ask about
stoplights.
that.
I mean, so you know, the commute in and out of town isn't as bad anymore. There's a lot of new commercial development in Pahoa town. There's this whole new town center with new grocery stores and office buildings. I mean, so it's not like you're in the Wild West like you used to, the Wild East like you used to be, you know, back in the day. It's much more suburbia. It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still Puna, but it's, you know, it's getting there. So
it's come a long way. Have they expanded the highway out there? Because that was a 2-lane, man. That was a 2-lane highway. That was like dangerous, and it was so.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've done a lot of improvements, turning lanes, you know, additional lanes. So the traffic,
Excellent.
It's still not great, but I mean, the traffic here is nothing compared to the traffic in Oahu or any big city.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. All right. Hey, gang, this is it's past your last chance. We've got to get going over here. Let's move on to our closing thoughts. And you all know what this is. Those of us, the regulars, if you've got some closing motivational thoughts, things you want to share, pop it in the comments. We'd love to have it. With that, let's go on and let's hit Dylan's. Dylan, what's yours, and how is it meaningful to you?
I just always remind people that it's right. If your goals and your dreams aren't big enough to scare you, they're not big enough. And I think moving here is a big goal and a big dream sometimes, and it can be scary, but that's probably why it's worth it. And the same is true in life and business and everything else. So just reevaluate. If your goals are safe, they're probably not big enough.
Man, that's deep. That's hurting. That's hurting me, Dylan. That's hurting me. That is hurting me, because I was kind of taking the easy way. It's like, yeah, I'm done with the big goals.
I think you've moved past your big goals, Peter.
I'm done with the big goals, man. I don't want to be scared anymore. I'm tired of being scared of big goals. I've had my whole life of going after big goals, man. I'm done. But you're right. But you're right. If I think there's like a Steve Jobs line that says, if you haven't broken stuff, you're not trying hard enough. And I think,
but on the flip side, I think related to you, I look at, and you're not in my parents' generation, but my parents, I'm very proud of the fact that they've transitioned into retirement. For a lot of people who I feel like that is also scary, right? Giving up your identity as a business person, as a professional, whatever it is, can also be a scary thing. But that should be a goal, right? At some point in life, you should give up that identity and move into the next stage in your life. And it can be scary for people to do it, and they work till they die because of it.
Yeah. That's worthy of a show topic unto itself, but we're going to skip that now. It's seriously, I mean, it is a topic. It's been our hardcore actually to kind of shift from being the driven entrepreneur that wants to build incredible things to like, okay, I'm done. It's cool. But hey, Auntie Joan here says, celebrate being wonderful. Love it. Auntie Joan has been giving us consistently great one-liners, man. Thank you, Auntie Joan. I love that. That is fantastic. Excellent. Thanks, Dylan. All right, let's move on. Ashley, give us your thought and what it means to you.
One of the greatest freedoms is how we react to things. Life will not be fair. It will not be equal, and it'll be full of hardships and I think that if you can just control how you react to those things, what freedom is that? Just mentally, physically. I loved this. And I got this from the book, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. And we had an au pair, and she moved to Chicago to continue her studies. And we still stay in touch quite often. And she saw this book and she thought of my daughter, and she mailed it to us, and we read it last night. And if you have any kids, highly recommend this book. It was so thoughtful, and there were so many good quotes and one-liners in there, and I wanted to share.
Ashley, you're inspiring me. We need to have a new show called Bedtime Story Time with Ashley and friends, and that would be kind of fun. We could all
I read 3 a night every night, so we'll have lots of content.
I was gonna say, all right, let's do it, man. Have a bedtime reading story. That is true. It is one of the few things you do have. You can't control events. You can't control what's going to happen. You can't control what's going to go on, but you do have complete control over how you react to it. So that is well said. I love it. Heidi, do you have a slide in here? Did we lose, or did I hide? Okay, hold on a second, gang. It's like technical difficulty. Technical difficulty one more time. Hold on. No, it's there. But you know what it is I should be more aware that I actually have to hide the slide so we don't kind of accidentally hit it when you're gone. But it's there. We got you covered, Heidi. Go ahead, Heidi. What's your dream, and what does it mean to you?
So you're either living your fears or living your dreams. Just about an awareness of what you're creating in your life, and don't let your fears hold you back. Go for your dreams. I mean, this quote just really keeps that awareness at top of mind.
That's right along with that. That's very synchronous with Dylan's thought, and that, yeah, very, very true. Are you living according to your fears or your dreams? Go for the dreams. And actually, Auntie Joan is chiming in with the wisdom that you've uncovered there about how we react to things. Very, very true. Excellent. All right, so let's kind of close up with, of course, it's coming from me, Proverbs. I really enjoyed this one. This is almost a real estate investing course in one line, which is take the garment of one who has given surety for a stranger. Now, what's surety? Surety is guaranteeing someone else's loan. That's what surety is. Guaranteeing, in other words, being a cosigner, co-signing on someone else's loan, meaning you're liable for them paying the loan back. Man, it's just 3,000 years ago, gang. 3,000 years ago is what they said. Take the garment of one who has given surety for a stranger, seize the pledge given as surety for foreigners. This is Proverbs saying, don't co-sign on a loan for someone else. Do not co-sign. Do not take someone else's debt as your own.
That's kind of what such good life advice.
You know it, right?
Oh right? My God, yes.
Okay. And this is what I love about Proverbs. It's 3,000 years old. So this is nothing new. Nothing new. 3,000 years ago, they were over leveraging real estate and doing co-signing on loans, and people were going bankrupt. So anyway, that's that's my closing thought for today. Hey, gang, it was a fun show. It was a little bit rocky, thanks to your not so together host. It's the coffee hasn't been doing it. And I don't know what is. Maybe it's some new coffee I'm trying. That might be it. Anyway, hey, look, let's all say goodbye. Let's go counterclockwise. Ashley, then Heidi, and then Dylan. Say goodbye.
Aloha, everyone. Have a blessed day. Thanks for joining us today.
Aloha, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Have an awesome weekend, everybody.
Awesome weekend. It was great having you here. See you in 2 weeks. Aloha.